It's a relief, of course, that 15 months of genocide appear to nearly be at an end. It is some alleviation for the Palestinian people who have suffered so tremendously over this time. But now looking forwards, the first thing that needs to happen is humanitarian aid needs to get in. Gaza has been utterly decimated. The healthcare system has been completely destroyed. Aid has not been allowed to get in. Almost the entire population has been displaced. So first and foremost, humanitarian aid is key. But looking forwards, we need to focus on accountability for the Israeli soldiers, for the Israeli politicians, and for their Western allies who are complicit in this genocide. The total impunity that Israel has been allowed over the last 15 months is what has allowed this genocide to take place. So accountability is utterly key to ensure that those responsible are held accountable. And then looking forward more broadly, any true peace, any true justice needs to have the self-determination of the Palestinian people lying at the heart of it. Because the situation that existed on October 6th was not a true peace. It was not true justice. Gaza was under a 17-year siege. In the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, occupation was rife, an apartheid system was rife across the entire occupied Palestinian territory. And that position is utterly untenable. We've now seen that the International Court of Justice has ruled that occupation illegal in July last year. And looking forwards, it's the self-determination of the Palestinian people. They need to be in charge of their own destiny. They need to be given the same rights that everyone else in the world is given. And that's the only way that we can achieve a true peace and true justice. Well, it's an important step that the International Criminal Court has issued these arrest warrants, as you say, for Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, and Yoav Gallant, the former defense minister as well. The way that this works is that there's state parties to the International Criminal Court. So the vast majority of countries in the world, over 120, are signed up as state parties to the ICC. If either of those individuals enter one of those countries, then those countries have a legal obligation to arrest him and give him up, arrest either of them and give them up to the ICC. So the reason why we've not seen action so far isn't because the system's not working. It's simply because they haven't traveled to any of those countries. But going forwards, that test case is going to become more and more apparent. So it is rumored that there's an Israeli delegation that will be traveling to Poland at the end of January. Poland is a state party to the International Criminal Court, and therefore they'll have a duty to arrest either Netanyahu or Gallant if they enter the country and give him up to the ICC. So it's a crucial time now to see whether or not this system will be working. And ICJP has been working with Polish lawyers to send letters to various Polish ministries, including the Prime Minister, to seek a guarantee that Poland will uphold its duties and arrest alleged war criminals if they enter the country. The Lancet report is very important indeed. The first thing that's important to say is that the Lancet is one of the most respected medical journals on the entire planet. Now, the report that's been published shows that the official figures for those killed was vastly underestimated. It was in the 40,000s rather than in the 60,000s. And it's very telling indeed because Western press often tried to delegitimize the Ministry of Health, saying that it was Hamas run and implying that that meant that the figures were unreliable. The figures were unreliable in that they were too low in their estimation. And the reason why they were too low is because Gaza has been utterly decimated. So many bodies are under rubble. Unfortunately, so many people's bodies are beyond recognition that they cannot be verified either. We've seen reports that families have been given bags of body parts that are the approximate weight of their loved ones because there was no way to separate bodies in a more dignified way. I mean, it is utterly barbaric that such practices are taking place. It's beyond human comprehension. But the other thing about that figure of over 60,000 is that that relates to traumatic deaths. So there's so many other ways in which this war has killed people. So there's, and it will continue to after a ceasefire takes place, which is important to remember too, because the healthcare system is decimated. So there are those wounded who need help, who won't get the proper medical treatment they need, and unfortunately will continue to die from their injuries. There's those who face malnutrition from starvation because of the blockade of aid. There's those who will die from disease because of epidemics that are rife. We know that polio is rife in Gaza for the first time in many, many years. And those with pre-existing complications, people such as myself with diabetes who rely on insulin, people in Gaza won't have that. And that will have lasting effects on their kidneys. It'll have lasting effects on their health. And many people will die prematurely as a result of it.